Let's take this across to our guest. Joining us is Mr. Kanwal, Sibal, former Foreign Secretary. We also have with us Binay Singh, political analyst, and Sandeep Singh, political analyst. Before I come to you, other gentlemen, first and foremost to Mr. Kanwal, Sibal first. Mr. Sibal, how do you look at the way this entire debate is playing out? Because we have seen in the past what has happened in Ladakh. This is a completely different sector in Arunachal. But on the one hand, you have the opposition which is saying that the government must come clean, asking questions as to why this information has come out so late, demanding a debate even. On the other hand, you have the government which is blaming the Congress for trying to divert issues from what they are calling, issues pertaining to questions related to the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation and the Congress party's links with China that they were trying to suppress. How do you look at this entire political fight that's playing out, sir?
I think it's very unfortunate. The implications of what has happened in Arunachal Pradesh are very serious. We've had this incident in Ladakh, well, more than an incident, Chinese aggression in Ladakh. And there were concerns that after Xi consolidates his position, after the 20th Party Congress, and given the internal problems that Xi Jinping is facing, especially recently with this COVID policy, which has elicited widespread protests in the country, that he may seek some kind of a foreign adventure. And there have been people who've been warning that he could either open some kind of a front against Taiwan or, from the Chinese point of view, a more doable thing, some kind of a front against India. Personally, I didn't believe that they would do so because the returns for this kind of adventurism are very, very limited. But whatever the reason, China has now stretched our defenses by opening a new front on the eastern side in Arunachal Pradesh. You know that the Chinese claim Tawang. In fact, their special representatives immediately after retirement said that the minimum price India will have to pay for normalization of relations would be ceding Taiwan to China. So they have their eyes on Tawang. And since this incident has occurred in that area, as I said, we have to draw some important lessons from this. It has also happened when we are presiding over the G20, and it is embarrassing in the context of what we are projecting as leadership of the global South and raising our international profile, if we are embarrassed by China on the border in the way the Chinese have done so. I still don't understand what they hope to gain from this, except some kind of a belief that they can get away with whatever they do. As regards the internal political debate, most unfortunate. Most unfortunate. This is a time when we should realize the stakes that are at play and show national solidarity on this issue. We can carry on our political debates in other ways, in a far more low-key manner, rather than allowing the Chinese the pleasure that each time they pinprick us or provoke us, our politics gets disturbed, where the political parties are at each other's throat and try to embarrass the government.
Unfortunate is that even when the speaker actually asked for all parties to come together and express a statement of solidarity with the Indian Army, perhaps even that was drowned out in the ruckus that was on inside the house. But leaving domestic politics apart, sir, I would also like to ask you a couple of important aspects as far as India is concerned. Now, is it fairly clear that, in the pattern of what we are seeing, while China may be doing it for reasons best known to them, perhaps to, hide from the internal issues of China itself, the larger question is this, that, India, will it now have to be braced for this kind of action on part of China repeatedly? Because the sense that we're also getting from some sources in the government is that this is all a sort of response to the shift, the paradigm shift in Indian policy, where you had earlier ministers saying that the best form of defense against China is to not develop the border areas. Now there's been a concerted focus. In Arunachal, for instance, there's been a border road that is in the process of being developed. Tourist facilities also being developed at different parts along the LAC. Is this just a response to that assertion from the Indian side that we're seeing from China?
Trap that we are getting into, trying to justify or find reasons for China's actions, and half accepting that it is because of our provocations in inverted commas. This is not true at all. China wants to keep us under pressure. They know they have the upper hand on the border. In terms of pinpricks, I don't think they have the capacity to actually launch any major, incursion against India in this area, because then it can escalate into far more serious situation, which Chinese also would not want. They want to get limited gains from limited incursions into India, put India on the defensive constantly, expose India's incapacity to deal with China, and give the world the message that China has its own agenda, and it will pursue that agenda, and it is part of a larger strategy to assert themselves and their sovereignty. And this is also in the Indo-Pacific area and Taiwan, South China Sea, as well as in India. Now, with regard to building border infrastructure, as you know, in Ladakh, we are building border infrastructure. Under the nose of the Chinese, we have built these bridges across the Shiok River and everything else. And other projects are being unveiled, and progress has been made. So it's not as if this is something unknown to China. I think this is very much linked to their claim on the Tawang area and putting us on the notice in this area in terms of asserting their claim. But I would again say that in times of gains on the ground, they will be limited, and they will be raising international concerns even more strongly and disrupting even whatever little they're trying to do in terms of overtures toward the United States, because then the reputation that China is not willing to behave like a normal country will get more and more strengthened. It doesn't serve their interests, so it's very difficult to understand what Xi Jinping's larger game plan is.
What exactly is their entire diplomatic perspective, or the larger game plan, as you rightly put it, is perhaps China knows best. Thanks so much for joining us and giving us that 360-degree perspective, Mr. Sibal. Before I go across to other guests, there's some more breaking news coming in at the moment, and this is as far as the opposition strategy vis-a-vis the entire issue of China is concerned. Now, we're told that Congress has readied a strategy to corner the government. The Congress has called an opposition party meeting, and this meet is to take place at 10 a.m. tomorrow. On the agenda is the Indo-China Tawang clash, where the Congress's leader of opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge, in the Rajya Sabha, has called a meeting of opposition parties at 10 a.m. in his chamber. That's the breaking update coming in as far as the opposition strategy is concerned. It's clearly not an issue on which the opposition is going to let the government off. Will try and put the government on the mat. They have, in fact, continued to do so through the course of the day today. Started off early morning with multiple adjournment notices and demands for discussion under Rule 267 in the Rajya Sabha. Ruckus seen later in both houses of parliament, even after the defence minister speaking. Let's quickly take this across to our guest. Sandeep Singh is with us. Binay Singh continues to be with us. Let me come to you first. Sandeep Singh, it seems that the opposition is clearly not going to let the government off on this issue. अमित शाह का कहना है कि राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन के बारे में और उसके जो लिंक्स है चाइना को लेकर, इस पर जो सवाल लगाए गए थे और उसका जवाब सुनने की हिम्मत कांग्रेस के अंदर नहीं है. कांग्रेस को इस पे और जो 2017 की मीटिंग थी कांग्रेस के नेताओं की, जो कांग्रेस पार्टी के और फंडिंग लिंक्स हैं चाइना से, इन सब पर जवाब देने की जरूरत है. क्या कहेंगे आप?
और गृह मंत्री अमित शाह, जब कांग्रेस की बात आती है, जब उनसे कोई सवाल पूछा जाता है तो सिर्फ और सिर्फ कांग्रेस के इतिहास को उठाकर ले आते हैं. जब कांग्रेस से सवाल पूछा गया चाइना पे, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी झूला झूल के आते हैं. प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी चाइना के जो संविधान, लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी और अमित शाह जवाब देने से कतराते हैं. राजनाथ सिंह के लोकसभा में बयान से पहले अमित शाह का बयान आ जाता है. ये क्या कह रहा था कि राजनाथ सिंह जो हमारे रक्षा मंत्री है उनकी कोई इज्जत नहीं है? क्या गृह मंत्री अमित शाह राजनाथ सिंह जी को कुछ नहीं मानते? मैं तो ये कहना चाहूंगा, हमारे जवानों की सुरक्षा प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी, गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी के हाथों में. बार बार झूठे बयान देकर देश को गुमराह ना करें. बार बार जो सेना की सुरक्षा को लेकर चीन को मुंहतोड़ जवाब देने का काम करें. कांग्रेस जो सवाल पूछ रही है तमाम मुद्दों पर, जो कांग्रेस ने सवाल पूछे, अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी ने जो सवाल पूछे हैं उन पर जवाब देना चाहिए. क्यों सिर्फ राजनाथ सिंह अपने भाषण देकर सदन से वॉकआउट सदन से कांग्रेस ने वॉकआउट, सिर्फ राजनाथ सिंह अपने भाषण देकर चले गए.
आगे क्या रणनीति रही कांग्रेस पे, इस पे आएंगे आपके पास. बट आई वांट Binay Singh to respond to that point. Several questions that are being posed by the Congress to the government, 18 of them, several including why the Prime Minister met with Xi Jinping, questions also of funding of BJP, of RSS workers going to China, what the agenda of those meetings were. Several such questions that have been posed by the Congress now to the government and the BJP. Binay Singh.
Madhav, I always say that when it comes to national security, it must not be a subject of political commentary. It is not a matter of political debate. It is something very serious. And Madhav, when we talk about opposition, okay, Congress and other parties are in the opposition, BJP is in the ruling party, but opposition is also a position in democracy. opposition has a duty to fulfill and a responsibility to deliver. But I'm sorry to say that the opposition today, they are tuned in at the same frequency of the enemy countries or enemy organizations, the anti-India organizations. You see the opposition, they are pro-China, pro-Pakistan, pro-PFI, pro-Simi, and they are anti-defense forces, anti-police, anti-Indian agencies, and anti-institutions. Madhav, I am sorry to say, but it is not the role of the opposition or the duty of opposition to support Afzal Guru or Kanhaiya Kumar or Umar Khalid.
No, but the question they are saying, before I will put that question to Sandeep Singh, but the question they are saying is that we are not questioning the army, we are questioning the government decision making. They are questioning the decision making and the political will of the government. It is also important for the government to come and give a response. Should they not be accountable?
It's a question been asked for 3-4 years that what the Congress did, what the Congress had in agreement with China. And 3-4 years later, one of the spokesperson of Congress is coming and saying that there was a MOU for development of both the countries. China has a dicey past. It has a past with India. And how can you go and you can have secret meetings with the Chinese officials? The official Chinese political party, the ruling political party of China. And 3-4 years afterwards, you are disclosing that it was a secret meeting for the development of both the countries. So you have got China and Pakistan to mingle with. When it comes to
Sandeep Singh respond to Vinay. Vinay Singh says that there is a lot that Congress has to answer, which the Congress has not addressed when it comes to China. Why should, in fact, the Congress not come clean on the issues that have been raised by the HM? Please respond, Sandeep Singh.
देखिए, मैं बार बार यही कहना चाहूंगा, जिस तरीके से अमित शाह बार बार आकर डिफेंड करते हैं, सरकार को डिफेंड करते हैं, सेना को डिफेंड करते हैं। हमारी सेना की सुरक्षा से लेकर जो चाइना घुसपैठ कर रहा है उसकी सुरक्षा, उसके हमारे देश की सुरक्षा से लेकर ये पूरी जिम्मेदारी सरकार की होनी चाहिए। और इससे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी भी खामोश हैं। चाइना के प्रधानमंत्री से मिलते हैं, लेकिन तमाम ऐसे बयान आते हैं, तमाम ऐसे फोटोज आते हैं जिसमें प्रधानमंत्री चाइना के सहयोग में दिखाई देते हैं। आखिर क्यों
लेकिन संदीप सिंह
अपने जो सेना की सुरक्षा,
संदीप सिंह अब इनको छोड़ दीजिए। मैं आपसे एक सवाल जरूर पूछूंगा कि अगर हाउस के अंदर स्पीकर प्रस्ताव पेश करते हैं कि हम यूनिलैटरली सारे हाउस यूनानिमसली हम आर्मी के समर्थन में एक स्टेटमेंट जारी करते हैं, उस पर भी रकस होता है, तो कहीं ना कहीं जो हाउस से भी मैसेज जा रहा है वो भी तो पूरी तरह सही नहीं है। क्या हम अपने सेना के साथ ऐसे वक्त पे भी अपनी जो सपोर्ट है, अपनी जो सॉलिडारिटी है, उसको नहीं जता सकते एक बार?
देखिए, हमारे जो सेना के जवानों को चाहे वो मामूली चोटें आई हों चाहे गंभीर चोटें आई हों, उस पर प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को, उस पर गृह मंत्री अमित शाह को और राजनाथ सिंह को जवाब देना चाहिए था। वहां पर आकर जो बयान दे रहे हैं कि बिल्कुल आए, बयान दिया, तालियां पिटवाई, संसद में और चले गए, लेकिन जो चर्चा होनी थी उससे क्यों भाग रहे हैं? राजनाथ सिंह चर्चा से क्यों भाग रहे हैं? अब बार बार ये सवाल क्यों नहीं पूछ रहे? बार बार सवाल पूछा जा रहा है कांग्रेस से, लेकिन जो सवाल पूछा जाना चाहिए प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी से, सवाल पूछा जाना चाहिए राजनाथ सिंह से, उस पर ये लोग चुप्पी था।
Okay, it's for the government. It's for the government to respond. Vinay Singh, lot the government has to answer, and one of the points being raised by the opposition is why is the government, when parliament is on, coming after 4 days and informing? When parliament is on, is it not the duty of the government to inform the house when the parliament is in session that such a grievous incident has taken place? Vinay Singh.
Madhav, when it comes to issues, border issues, Indian-Chinese border issues, whom will you rely? You don't rely the Home Minister. You don't rely the statement made by the Army or Defense Forces. Whom do you rely? And your statement, your data, or your information, that is same what is being propagated from China or from Pakistan. I am surprised that the statement of the Congress party, that is in tune with the statement of the Chinese political party, the ruling political party. I am surprised that you don't believe the Indian Defense Forces. You must believe all soldiers. You must believe the spokesperson of the Indian Army. That yes, Galwan, or what happened in Galwan.
All right, Vinay Singh and Sandeep Singh, I'd like to thank both of you. Completely out of time. The political fight is far from over. Opposition looks all set to sharpen its knives tomorrow and put the government on the mat once again on this extremely sensitive issue.